Hello. Today I want to talk about the physiology behind why we sleep, especially when we are less busy and like when we're inside the church or during long conversation, long talks, or repeating the same thing. I want us to, in this video, I want to discuss the physiology that is behind this mechanism. So, have you ever wondered why sleep comes easily when you are less busy, quiet, or resting or even listening to a very quiet sermon or long sermon in the church? It is not laziness, it is normal human physiology. So, here are some of the things that cause this natural phenomenon. So, reduced brain stimulation. The reticular activating system is located in the brain stem, and it is this system that keeps you alert and awake. So, during sleep induction, the reticular activation system slows down. But when you are active, your muscles move, your eyes scan, and your brain receives constant signal. So all these signals keeps the reticular activating system active and make you remain awake. But when you sit quietly with minimal activity, sensory input releases, the muscles movement decreases, and the environment becomes quiet. All this leads to the reduction in the reticular activity system. This makes your brain to slow down, allowing sleep to take over. So this is a natural phenomenon. Another point is increased parasympathetic activity. This is the phenomenon that is designed by rest and digest that comes into play when we are resting to allow digestion to take place and other metabolic activities in the body. So resting reduces sympathetic activity, which is a flight or fight, which energize the muscles and other bodily functions that keep you awake. This sympathetic activity becomes reduced when you are resting, thereby allowing the parasympathetic activity, which is rest and digest, to take over. At this point, there is slow heart rate, reduced muscle movement, reduced blood pressure, and there is a calm and steady brain state. Your brain now interprets this as a steady signal, signaling to it that you should rest. It is safe, that sleep should take over, and sleep just comes naturally. Number three cause of this is the brain wave zone shifts to the sleep zone. The brain is made up of two waves. You have alpha waves and beta waves. The alpha waves is the sleep zone, while the beta wave is the active zone. During active zone, muscle activities increase. This is activated when we engage ourselves in physical activities. The beta zone is activated. But in alpha waves, this happens when we rest. So during resting period, the brain activity shifts from beta, which was active, to alpha waves. That is the sleep zone. So the alpha wave zone is associated with drowsiness, relaxation, and pre-sleep states. So this can shift within just minutes of reduced activity or of resting. That is why in people who have high alpha wave, if they just sit down to rest just for a minute, sleep will take over them. And this predominantly happen in quiet places, in places where there is low light concentration, including the church, meeting areas, in classes, when there is lack of focus by students. The beta wave zone is shifted from beta wave zone to the alpha wave zone, which is the sleeping zone. It changes from the active zone to the slower, less active zone. Another thing that induces sleep is comfort and monotony effect. What do I mean by this? When one feels comfortable, like you're sitting comfortable in a chair, you have a very good ventilation in the church, and you're listening to sermon, and your brain is not yet, you are not focused on what the priest or pastor is saying, immediately the sleep becomes so induced in you. Also, the voice of the person presiding over the sermon also matters. If the voice is sweet, so calm, so gentle, that can also induce a sleep into those who are listening to the very sermon or homily. Long speeches also play a critical role in this, because at this point, after the brain interprets the sound and gets used to it, the brain's activity of interpreting different or variable different sounds now changes. It now becomes metabolically slow, and as a result of that, its engagement becomes reduced. So that is why a calm sermon or talk can feel soothing and sleep inducing. Melatonin release. When the environmental stimulation drops, there is a release of melatonin hormone from the pineal gland. This melatonin is referred to as the sleep hormone. This is released as a result of minor things like darkness, quietness, and other things that can lead to the induction of sleep. So when these situations happen, there is increase in the concentration or production of melatonin by the pineal glands. So mental fatigue from attention can also cause this. Listening requires sustained attention. So when people who are listening to a speaker continue giving that speaker attention for a long period of time, and the person has sustained in giving that speech for a while, the brain becomes so used to this. It becomes less stimulating, the speech becomes so long, and the brain loses its own activity of interpreting this, becoming less metabolically active. These factors constitute why we sleep when we are less focused, why we sit in church, or we stay in places where the body does not engage in activities, physical activities, or self-stimulating activities. So when you sleep in church, it is not because the devil is working. It's not because you are lazy, but these are physiological activities that happen in the body. So it is not witchcraft, it is nothing, but this is the basis of sciences that define what happens in our body. Physiology defines it. So thank you so much. Bye bye for now. Till we meet next time.